Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Hammer. Uh, with me today, like always, Seb and Savage. That you guys make it so easy for me to get these shows going. I appreciate the help.
It's not me, sir.
So, yeah. So this episode we're going to do a little bit differently than we usually do it. We have a few new segments. For some of you that watch Battle Bros, we are no longer going to be doing that if people like the way that we do these episodes. So we're kind of merging those two shows. So that's why it's a little bit differently. So we're going to start things off like we would usually do in Battle Bros, and we're kind of going to talk about what we've done in the hobby this week. So I'll throw it over to Seb first. What have you been up to in the hobby this week, sir?
I've finally got my Dark Vengeance figures all stuck together, which is amazing because I kind of had done nothing for such a long time. And other than that, just reading the Path of the Eldar books and doing Fluff Talk and Black Vault earlier this week. So yeah, time for some painting soon.
Okay, cool. And Savage, hobby this week. What have you done? Don't tell me nothing, or I'll hit you.
Something? I put together a whole model by myself. Even converted it a little bit. I put together a Blood Angels veteran model for the company that I'm doing, and started reading the first Blood Angels book.
Well, that's something, I guess. Well,
Why did you do that?
And
Okay.
I started painting an avatar.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have.
And
I'm just gonna kick you from this call right now. Who said it was a good idea to bring you on the show?
I know.
Okay,
I
I
got
have,
this
and I'm
show.
just gonna talk through you now. I have painted 3 Thunderwolf Cavalry, a Land Raider, a Rhino. I've converted my HQ for my Space Wolves,
Oh.
and I think that was about it. So that's what I've done. Obviously,
You got prefect pads.
well, obviously it's for my commission, so I'm getting paid to paint those things. So it kind of gives me a little bit of motivation, just a little bit. So yeah, Toxic Painting on Facebook if you want anything done. Sponsor. Okay, so that's our kind of week in review of what we've done in the hobby. So we should be doing that every week now, just to kind of let everyone know what we've been doing. So after that, we got our next segment, which is news and rumors, which I'll throw it over to Seb. He's in charge of that.
Okay, yeah, so there's quite a few things to get through this week. There's Blightwheel Miniatures versus Games Workshop. It's a new legal battle over the mutant Komodo that looks a lot like the Luxactyl from the Sabat Worlds artwork. That's a lot of bit of fun at the moment. I believe you guys wanted to come in and have some opinions on that, because Games Workshop just want to sue everyone all the time.
Yeah,
Is this justified?
I mean, I look at it and they look extremely similar. I think Games Workshop definitely has a reason to be unhappy about it. Are they being a little bit too harsh? Yeah, probably. What, they want like all their profits, they want the molds, as well as a cease and desist?
Yeah, they want absolutely everything.
I mean, that's a little bit harsh.
Well, they said they look forward to hearing from them.
As long as they're polite about it, I guess.
They're not that normally polite when they're just whacking the prices up and trying to convince you that one clicks are cheaper.
Well, I think they designed it after a Komodo dragon just to get around the legal side, but I guess Games Workshop doesn't see it as a Komodo dragon. The way they put it in their letter is there's an infinite amount of possibilities that you could make a mutant Komodo dragon, yet you made your Komodo dragon to look like our Xenos mercenary. So
Yeah. the distinctive circular head implant by the eye, gun attached to the chest, an ammo belt around the body with large separate bullets, and a shield plate under the back ammo belt, which is, yeah, kind of similar. But I kind of imagine even if it was just a Komodo dragon, they still might get funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, they don't know Komodo dragons, but you kind of look at it and you can see the point. Like, it's got the gun underslung under its chest. It's got the ammo belt. The pose is similar. It's yeah, and it's obvious that that's what it's from, because if you look at Blight Wheel's other models, they have blood-packed heads, Tanith first and only heads. It's pretty obvious that they're supplying people with alternate ways to make armies from the Gaunt's Ghost series. But
did Games Workshop even have models that are doing these? I know obviously they own the copyright, but do they have models that
they
do
have
this?
I think they have about 4 or 5 Gaunt's Ghost models. They have Gaunt, and they have the medic, the sniper, one, and a couple of the sergeants or something like that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Have you ever been bitten by a member of the Games Workshop head departments? Their bites are full of disease and infection, so maybe they are Komodo dragons.
Okay. So I think we'll carry on with the news.
Okay. There's a German Games Workshop store running an Alliance of Convenience tournament, which ignores the new Allies matrix from the rulebooks, so anyone could be allied with anyone, and Tyranids can have some friends, because people haven't been best pleased with the way that's been and the new matrix. I'm sorry to D, but the Mark of Calth is available for pre-order from the Black Library. It's the new anthology from the Horus Heresy, continuing the underworld fight of things going on between the Word Bearers and Ultramarines, which will be fun, and Black Library taking more money off me. The Forge World pre-orders are up. Necrons with the Tesseract Arc and the Sentry Pylons. Death from the Skies is back into second prints and should be arriving for people very soon, and digitally it's now available from today. We've got a new leaked picture of the plastic Farseer and the Eldar coming very, very, very soon. So that's exciting, new plastic Farseer. And now the Black Templars are no longer available, so it looks like they could very seriously be on the way, as retailers are now reporting Black Templar kits are unavailable for restocking. So do we want to, get involved and think the Black Templars are coming soon? Because it's been on and off and on and off and off and on.
Yeah,
recently.
I mean, we've been hearing on bits and pieces every week. Nothing, definite, no pitches. No one can really hold down a date or when they're going to come out, but it's really looking like something's happening with them. I mean, we've gone over this before, but Savage, you excited? Maybe Black Templars?
Maybe, but then now I have to buy more Space Marines. I have 100 already.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's strange. It's like, do you think there's still a chance that they could even be just getting rid of them? I mean, it doesn't sound like it, but
yeah, I could definitely see them getting rid of it, in a way, because I haven't really seen any people play Black Templar at all.
Well, we are talking about the Space Marines coming at some point into this year, so maybe they might get rolled in, but people keep assuring us that everything that was in the last edition will get a 6th edition version.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually did get rolled in with the Space Marines, if apparently they're on their way, and now, the Black Templar stuff is getting pulled. It kind of looks like it might line up to being Black Templars in with the Space Marines. I could see it happening. I don't think it's going to happen though. So.
No, I don't. I think hopefully they'll get their own book. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about things that are unavailable. There's been some Warhammer Fantasy plastic kits that have been removed from shelves. The Empire Knights, Archers, Militia have been removed from the indie store list, as well as Common Goblins. So yeah, some of them are quite fresh. We're not quite sure what's going on, but there could be some more new stuff coming for Fantasy as well. Although there's lots of high elf stuff. We'll get to that in a bit later. And Games Workshop are now starting an army builder app for the iPhone and other phones that should be coming soon. Yeah, so that'd be interesting. Like to add to the Psychic Powers and other apps they've got going at the moment. How are you guys feeling about Army Builder apps? Is that exciting for you?
Yeah, well, we both use Army Builder by Lone Wolf Studios or Development or something.
Yeah.
And that's, it sets you back. It was like about $40 when you first buy it, and then it's about between $10 and $15 every year to get like free automatic updates, and that is an Army Builder app. It's got all the information for armies, 40k, fantasy, War Machine, all that good stuff. You do it all on your computer, put it into a PDF, print it out. Really good program. I've been using it for about probably 4 years. I got Savage into using it probably about 2 years ago. So
Yeah.
I mean, depending on the price, I'm definitely excited. But if it's going to be something ridiculous, then I'm just going to stick with Army Builder.
Well, knowing Games Workshop, it's probably going to be something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about £8, £10, something like that for the Psychic app. Which, and also don't get excited by any adverts you see for this Army Builder app, because all the noises for the Psychic apps aren't there. They were just added for the video, which made me really sad.
Yeah, I think that sounds disappointing. So yeah, heads up for everyone. Don't get too excited about any trailers.
It is Games Workshop, so...
It is Games Workshop. So yeah, there's that. The German Games Day documents have been leaked, which is interesting. Which basically there's a lot there. You can find it on NAFCA Fate 212 if you want to go through it all. But basically, it's going to be bigger, better, and significantly more expensive. And they're justifying that by saying if you went to Disneyland for the day or went to see a pop concert, it would cost you a lot more money. But yeah, so it's 2,000 tickets, and it's on August the 11th. And hopefully they're saying they're going to have lots more people from the UK. Yeah, which will be interesting.
So they're saying that the tickets are going to be more expensive, and the reason behind that is because they're kind of saying like a theme park is kind of the equivalent of going to Games Day.
Yeah, that's they're kind of trying to argue, or a 3-hour pop concert.
I mean, the entertainment you're going to get by going to Games Day is buying more Games Workshop products. I mean, at least when I go to a theme park, I'm not forced to buy the merchandise. I still get to ride on the rides and stuff like that for my entertainment.
Hold on.
You do have
this
to
just
leave
in. It's just in Games Workshop ripping their customers off once again.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. But there's only going to be 2,000 tickets for that. So that's another reason for them to be expensive. There's only 2,000, so it's going to be limited edition tickets.
Do they come in candy bars?
Oh, they come in. Hopefully, they come in black envelopes. So yeah, so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah.
Other things that are fun. Tower still being delayed. Apparently, people should have got everything they wanted by the 15th, which is 5 days ago now. But apparently, people are still experiencing some delays. But I would imagine that's probably more independent retailers and other people. I'm not sure if everyone they've gone through Games Workshop, they should have their things by now. Although the Tower just sold insanely because people think they're pretty, even though they're annoying blue bastards. And just an update on the release orders, it's still looking like May High Elves, which will probably be available for pre-order next week, possibly. June looks like it's going to be Elder, July Apocalypse, August Lizardmen, September is the Blood Bowl Mystery Box 1, October Space Marines, possibly with Black Templar, who knows, November Dwarfs, that's still crazy question mark, and Hobbit December, Tyranids in January. Citizens of Battle, Templars and Imperial Guard have all been mentioned in the mix, but definitely High Elves, Elder, Apocalypse, Lizardmen looks like the definite next 4, and it's still going to be 1 a month for everything.
Okay.
And last is, they've got some picks for the new High Elves release, which Toxic is going to be displaying as I go through this. Again, remember, none of us are fantasy experts, but here's a good idea of some of the models which should be for pre-order at the end of next week. So for the core, you've got Spearmen, Archers, Lothan Sea Guard, Silver Helms, Tyrannok Chariot and Shadow Warriors. We're not putting the exact pictures up with them, but just showing you this massive leak that came out yesterday, just as we go through them. Then for special, you've got the Olivian Reavers, the Trace Chariot, White Lions, the Dragon Prince horse, Great Eagles, Sword Masters, Bolt Thrower, and then for rare you've got Dragon Princes, or monstrous creatures, Phoenix Guard, Phoenix, Safari Chariot, and there's some new models, which are the Safari Chariot, which is the flying chariot, Drake Riders, Dragon Princes, Shadow Warriors, Phoenix, Guards of Avalon, and Maiden or Guard similar, but not confirmed. Yeah, that's the rumours. There's going to be some huge plastic treemen, possibly, which are going to be also have dual use with Wood Elves, which is just sounds interesting, because apparently there's not been enough ideas for High Elves in this wave. There's going to be some Shadow Warriors, very similar to the heavy armour spear halberd guys from Lord of the Rings. Lots more monstrous infantry, griffins and things, and some fine cast blisters. And the new battalion box is more likely to be more expensive. Who would have thought that? With 10 Shadow Warriors / Maiden, 20 spears, a bolt thrower, and apparently possibly 8 silver helms. So yeah, that's what's coming from the High Elves, and they look to be next, followed by the Eldar. So that's the rumours for today.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll get on to our next segment, and this is going to be our main topic. So we'll have a main topic in every episode, but we're also going to have our regular segments. So this is our main topic for this week, and it is alternate models. So we're just going to talk about some of the alternate models that you can get, other than buying 40k or fantasy models from Games Workshop, because obviously there's been a lot of Games Workshop hate, I guess you could say, lately. So we thought this would be a good time to kind of show some alternate models from different companies. The examples we have are 40k. However, most of these companies, I'm pretty sure every single one of these companies that we'll talk about, also have fantasy models. Actually, no, I think we do have one fantasy model in there. So let's have a look at them, shall we? So first up, we have the biggest company that comes to mind when I think of alternate models. We got Mantic. Mantic up the top with their Marauders, which obviously anyone that's going to be looking at them, that's a space orc right there. Difference being, you can buy these in sets of 20 for, I think it's £15. So, you get more for cheaper, and they don't look half bad. It's going to be a little hard to see the orcs, but yeah. So, what are you guys' thoughts on Mantic, Seb?
Well, I think the orcs are great. I just think we're going to be saying in a couple of weeks Games Workshop suing Mantic, because they kind of have the space orc thing. But they're effectively alternate orcs. Even if you didn't want to completely avoid Games Workshop, they would add some spice and variety to your army. But they've got choppers, shooters, everything you could want.
Now, obviously they do more than orcs. They have Forge Fathers, which are basically squats. They have some Corporation, I think they're called, which are like Imperial Guard. They have some powered armor looking guys. They have Skaven in space, basically. What else do they got? They have a lot of
Skaven in space.
They have some fantasy stuff.
Drink.
They have some. They have some demons. Not demons. Undead. Sorry. They have some elves. Just a lot of good stuff.
Sort of 40k Blood Bowl thing as well, haven't they?
Yeah, they got a 40k Blood Bowl thing. Savage, what are your thoughts on Mantic?
Well.
I think we kind of talked about them in Battle Bros one week, so I forced you to look at them.
Yeah, I reckon they're pretty cool. They're the ones that done like the Blood Angels ones or whatever. Like, is that the ones?
No.
Yeah. No. Close.
Are you looking at the live stream? Can you see the orcs?
Yeah, I know the orcs.
Do you know where you are?
Yes.
Well, they do, because Mantic's whole thing is building big armies. I think that's like their slogan kind of thing, and it's about they sell big boxes of troop, relatively cheap compared to sites like Games Workshop. They're plastic models most of the time. I think some of their HQs are metal, but for the majority of their stuff, it's plastic kits, and they sell hundreds of troop for yeah, I can't. I should have wrote the prices down, but I kind of rushed this episode together. Um, yeah. Um, but yeah, they sell big armies in comparison to Games Workshop prices. You're saving hundreds of dollars. We'll put it that way. Uh, so yeah, so that's one of them, Mantic. Next on we have, get the pitches up. This is Cyborg, I think. No, this is Cromlech. Yeah, Cromlech, I think. Whichever one it is. Yeah, I think it's Cromlech.
I'm pretty sure they're from it.
Yeah, and again we have some orcs. These ones are mega knobs. Well,
Definitely better than the Games Workshop ones.
yeah, definitely better than the Games Workshop ones. But I think, as Seb was saying, like, they look like the Games Workshop product. Like, how are they getting away with it?
It's
Yeah.
very, very close.
I suppose
That one's got a
because
drill.
orcs are like, I don't know. Orcs just seem to be like the big thing that any company can do because it's orcs.
It was like not even Tolkien invented orcs, so
Yeah.
orcs been around for a long time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think most people would say that the Cromlech ones look a lot better than the Games Workshop ones. And I didn't check the prices when I got the pitches, but I'm pretty sure that the Cromlech ones are going to be cheaper because anything Finecast is very expensive for what it is, and you can only buy them in packs of one, as far as I can tell, from Games Workshop.
Yeah.
So definitely a nice alternative. Like, if I was playing orcs, I would definitely get the Cromlech ones. They look better. I'm sure they're probably going to be cheaper. Seb, thoughts?
But yeah, they're just awesome. I'm just terrified that Games Workshop are going to try and take them down. But orcs do seem to be the safe area. That one on the left there, he looked kind of like a Big Daddy from Bioshock orc.
Mm-hmm. I have seen some
Conversion was very
conversions of Big Daddy orcs.
That'd be awesome. And weird little girl Gretchen.
Oh, that'd be good.
A Gretchen dressed up as a little girl.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
So, Savage, any thoughts on
they've
Cromlech?
got metal jaws.
Yeah, they've even got the metal jaws. So,
Who knows? The Games Workshop ones don't have the drills. It's safe there.
okay. So we'll move on to the next one, and we have, what is this one? Titanforge.
Yeah, that's Titanforge.
So this is obviously on the right. We have the Games Workshop Zinch Herald on a chariot, and then on the left we have the Titanforge
Demonic Mage
Smeech
Lord.
Smerald on a Smariot. So
I think the Mage Lord and the Sky Devil, I'll have you know.
Yeah, again, you got these two very similar kits. Could be used for 40k or fantasy. These ones, obviously. They both look. I think this is probably one of the only ones that I would say that the Games Workshop one, in my opinion, looks better. I just like the Herald a little bit better.
And then there's no Moonface option, which is always a pain.
Mm-hmm. Savage, what are your thoughts on Titanforge?
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Like, I agree with you on this one though, where the Games Workshop one is like slightly better.
I mean, it is a newer kit, so I'm
Yeah.
guessing Titanforge probably brought their one out before this new Games Workshop kit.
Yeah, probably.
There
But
is
no,
no getting away from the fact it's a giant thingy, though.
Yeah, it's a giant screamer. It's. I mean, if you look out there, there's plenty of alternate websites to get models. We're just naming a few of the bigger ones. So next on we have some. We have some from Raging Heroes. They're Blood Vistels, or whatever they're called. They do these ones in fantasy and in science fiction, but obviously, I mean, look at them. They're Dark Elder witches. I think that in their description for the HQ, the Dark Elder HQ, they have would be good for leading like any dark sci-fi army or something like that. Just something like basically saying use this for your Dark Elder without using the word Dark Elder. These ones, I think this is the only one that's actually more expensive to go with the Raging Heroes witches. I think £25 for a 5-man resin kit of them, where it's like 29 American dollars for 10 witches.
That's quite a bit more.
The Raging Heroes one have a little bit of booby showing. So
that's one toxic over there.
yeah.
She who thirsts is more excited by these guys, clearly.
So
I think maybe they get away with these ones by they're very dark elf as well. So they're by being very close to two products, they're neither one nor the other.
Well, Raging Heroes does actually have these models in fantasy. So they're meant to be witch elves for the dark elves. So they actually do have the fantasy version. I think all these sites that we've talked about, they have fantasy variants as well for fantasy armies. So now that we've shown a few pitches and what we mean by alternate models, like what are you guys' thoughts on using alternate models? I know me and Savage have kind of talked about it in Battle Bros, but Seb, you're just getting stuck back into this hobby again. Now we're showing you all these websites that you can buy models that aren't Games Workshop.
But it's definitely very tempting. I think I was really excited getting back in and getting my first sort of demon lot. I've got them and the Dark Vengeance set now, so ready to start building up and getting some more things in. And yeah, I'm definitely looking at maybe doing some of the alternative models, because Games Workshop, one, have had enough of my money, and two, they're kind of big bastards at the moment. Mm-hmm. So, and there is a lot of pretty things out there that you can use to bolster your army.
Yeah, I mean, this is why when people talk to me about what would you do if Games Workshop goes under, or they go bankrupt, and I say, like, I'm not worried about it, because I own a copy of the 40k rules. There's still going to be people playing, and there's plenty of other websites that sell models that can be used for 40k, can be used for fantasy, and if something does happen on Games Workshop, the rights are going to go to someone. But on the off chance they didn't, that's just going to open it up even more. Like, these companies are not going to be scared of getting sued by Games Workshop, and just opens the floodgates on these alternate models. Savage, would you use some alternate models in your army?
Maybe, but the only place I can go and play games is Games Workshop, because I don't have any local hobby stores.
Yeah.
So I could get alternate models, but they'd probably never play with them.
Well, you use what was it, Dreamforge or something like that? Ultraforge.
Ultraforge.
Yeah, you use an Ultraforge Demon Prince or Greater Demon or whatever they're gonna call it in your army, right?
Yeah.
And what made you go with that choice?
Because it looks cool. I have it right here.
What was the price in there?
It was like $55 for the plastic Games Workshop one, and it's like $80 for this like resin one. And that's the video's a bit slow, but the two differences, like the Games Workshop one is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Well, really nice.
So
the funniest thing about that is that the rules for a Demon Prince do not match that big model. That's so much weaker than that big model looks.
Yeah, I'd probably use it as like a bloodthirster or something like that, maybe, but it's still sweet for like, $20-30 more or whatever.
Yeah, that's the problem that I have with some of these alternate models, is that unless you're getting a whole army of these alternate models, sometimes they don't mix well with the Games Workshop. Like the witches, I was planning on getting a couple of them, making a Dark Elder army, but when you compare the Raging Hero witches to the Kabbalite Warriors made by Games Workshop, they don't really have the same armor style or the same look and feel to them, and I feel like that would kind of hinder my army appearance-wise when you have these really nice looking witches, and then you got like a different art style warrior. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think the biggest off-put for me is like that fact that there's not as much variety in the like third-party companies.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, they've got some cool models, but you still kind of have Games Workshop models for some of your army. And like you said, it doesn't mix well sometimes.
Yeah, I think Mantic's the only one that really has enough that you could make a whole army out of their range, and even then they're still lacking a few things that you're going to want to fill with Games Workshop products. So not really a complete alternative to Games Workshop, but it's definitely an alternative to some models, and I think we can all agree that a lot of these models look pretty amazing, and we'd all be interested in getting some. So.
Definitely. Can I just ask quickly? Like, you're talking about not being able to use the alternative models, obviously in Games Workshop stores and for competitions and things. When it comes to conversions, where's the line drawn? Can you only convert with Games Workshop parts, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, generally it's like Games Workshop parts and just plastic card and green stuff, and they don't really
nothing else.
Yeah, not really. Well, yeah, it's unless you're playing them at like a friendly, game or at a local hobby store, but definitely not in the Games Workshop. I mean, they don't let you paint with other company products in their stores, so.
So they'd like you fully check you out before the tournament. That just must be an amusing start.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely agree why they do it in the Games Workshop stores, because when you are in the store playing with their product on their tables, and then a customer comes in, the Games Workshop guy says, "Oh, have you seen this stuff before? Oh, this is what it looks like. This is in the box," and he shows them a sprue. Then he says, "Oh, and then you paint them up and you play a game like these guys are doing," and then they show you to the table where you're having a game with their product. If you had another model that's not part of their range, or some conversion,
Optimus Prime just in the middle,
yeah, or some conversion that's not using their product, it's it creates an awkward situation where the guy's like, "Oh, that one looks really cool. Where can I buy that from?" He's like, "Well, you can't buy it from us." So I can see why they do it. It's a little annoying when, like, Savage and when I used to live back on the Gold Coast. We could only have games at Games Workshop. It was the only place that we could go, apart from each other's houses, so we couldn't really get alternative models. So. Yeah.
fair enough.
So any final thoughts on alternate models?
No.
Nope.
Good for a spice, but yeah, maybe not for the whole thing.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to kind of, break up the Games Workshop and get something else. No. So we'll move on to what is next. Shamehammer. For those of you who don't know what Shamehammer is a segment that we had in Battle Bros where we talked about shameful things that we've seen in the hobby, whether it be stuff from years ago or recently. We would each bring something to the table, every week, and then we would vote on kind of what's the most shameful. So
It looks like you both killed me.
No, that would be wrong.
So
We just tenderized you.
Drink.
So so the Shamehammer. I think we've only got one topic to talk about because we didn't really couldn't really think of anything else, and it came to us both of what definitely needed to be done, and that is Savage. I'll throw this over to you and let you explain what we think is worthy for Shamehammer this week.
I don't even remember how we came across it. I think it was Toxic that came across on Games Workshop's website that the Tau had been FAQ'd, and the FAQ had been released the day after the Tau Codex came out.
I think it was on the day. It was a day.
On the day.
It was a day one FAQ. I'm pretty sure it came out on the day that the Codex came out.
That's even worse.
Yeah. So you just release a Codex, and on the day that you start selling it to the public, you have to FAQ it because there's something wrong. How bad is that? How bad is that?
Their proofreaders are so bad.
It's not just like proofreaders, it's like play testers, the people that write it. Like, how do you not make do they just play test the Codex and not have someone like make half a dozen army lists, or give it to someone and be like, make the worst, most cheesiest, baddest tournament list you can, and then try and fix that? I mean, it's okay. For those of you who don't know, the FAQ was to stop anyone that could take drones taking missile drones, and they FAQ'd it so only crisis suits could take the missile drones, because people were going, wait a second, like all my sergeants, everything can get this upgrade to get drones. Why don't I just have everything in my army have missile drones and just spam missile launches everywhere? Obviously not a good idea, because everyone would do that. You know, strength 8 missiles across the table. So now only crisis suits can take the missile drones. Yeah. How do they not see that? Seb? What are your thoughts on this day one FAQ?
I think they're just being blinded by the money. Like, people still bought the people are buying Tau in crazy amounts, and people they like all the limited editions are being sold. So I think they don't care anymore.
Well, is this a drawback?
At least they brought it out.
Yeah, but is this a drawback for us getting a new codex every month? Is that they don't check it well enough? They just write it and release it to get the money, and they're not checking it. Like, is it worth it?
It's definitely a risk with every month, and we're kind of lucky we've got this far without it being that bad. Have they been? What are the FAQs for the previous codex?
It's been pretty bad. Not as bad as this. They've definitely been getting recent FAQs. I don't know if that's just because they're getting their shit together and releasing FAQs a bit faster, but I don't see why there's a need to release an FAQ within the first month of a book getting released. It's like, get it right the first time. At least give us something that's not, it's just, there's so much things in each new codex that people are left scratching their head saying, what does this mean? In the Dark Angels one, like, a unit had stealth and shroud, or one of those, and it got removed in an FAQ. It's like, that model wasn't even meant to have that special rule, and Games Workshop's removing that in the first month. How do they miss that?
I have a related Games Workshop proofreading issue. I can't remember what book it was. I was talking to the manager at Games Workshop, and in I think it was a Horus Heresy maybe, it talked about the 2 missing legions. Like, it gave a quick backstory on that, and apparently there's like an agreement in Games Workshop with like Black Library or whatever, and like all the writers, is they're not allowed to mention them at all, other than the fact that they existed or something like that, and they're never to be spoken of. And it actually got released in one of the books, and the proofreader didn't pick it up.
Wow. Yeah, because they talk about how that's why the Ultramarines and Space Wolves have got such crazy numbers. It's because they absorbed them in.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't
How
meant
the
to be
hell
in there.
did that get through?
Yeah.
To be fair, Black Library editing is shocking. Like, I think it's Battle for the Abyss. One of the characters' names has got about 5 or 6 different spellings.
So that sounds like me if I wrote a book. Like, I wouldn't remember how to spell my characters' names, and that just like.
But that's fine. You'd be the writer. It's the editor's job to sort that out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So anyone else have any other things to add to the Shame Hammer for this week, or is that shameful enough for everyone?
Well, the only thing I was going to say that was shameful is I kind of got too frustrated with my plague drones and got Sarah to stick them together for me. But compared to Black Library and Games Workshop, that kind of pales, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So, Savage, you wanna hit Games Workshop with the Shame Hammer this week?
I think we let Seb do it.
Seb?
Boosh!
See, it doesn't work anymore that we actually have faces now, because on Battle Bros you just heard the sound effects, so we need to get a hammer.
Well, I didn't want to steal Toxic's shame whip of...
Whip of shame?
I got this.
Oh, you can't have a lightsaber of shame.
Oh,
wait,
can.
no. Don't look, Disney, don't look.
Okay, so we move on from the Shame Hammer.
Not even an official lightsaber.
It is.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And the next
Didn't look
segment,
like Vader.
Unit of the Week.
Who's that? Pokey. Nope.
Nope.
That's copyrighted too.
You're ruining us. We're gonna have like 3 cease and assists by next week. Games Workshop, like Pokemon, and Disney.
We can try and pretend that this is criticism and review, and we just about get away with it.
We'll just re-release it with another name and say we're different people. We'll all get like, I don't know, wear wigs or something.
Boxic and Barrage and Bath Sebius. Anyway, unit of the week. Unit of the week.
Okay, Savage, this is your unit of the week. For those of you who don't know, again, this is something we did in Battle Bros, where we would discuss a unit of the week every week. Basically, whatever we felt like talking about, or something that we had used in a game and had worked well for us. So we'd like to share it. I don't have anything for this week, but Savage, I'll leave this to you.
On the spot again. I picked chaplains because I don't know, they just looked cool lately. Yeah, they just looked cool. That's why they're unit of the week. No, they're pretty good. They give you in your first round of combat, they give you it rerolls on ones.
I don't think it depends on the chaplain. I think they have different rules and different codexes nearly. I think some give you preferred enemy, which is rerolling ones. I think it's just rerolling ones all the time. I think it's in shooting as well. You have some that give you rerolls all dice on the first round of combat. You have a bunch of different ones because the rules from 5th edition to 6th edition on preferred enemy and hatred and all that stuff got changed. So you have these 6th edition codexes with chaplains giving you rerolls in the first round of combat, and then you have like the Wolf Priest with Space Wolves that gives you preferred enemy, which is reroll ones all the time in shooting as well, and that's actually that's where I really like them because they can, if you're getting the rerolling ones in shooting, give them to a couple of plasma gunners, and you're never really gonna get hot.
Yeah, rerolls are always nice.
It sounds like your Rune Priest has been taken over by Tzeentch, because that's similar to the Gift of Tzeentch, the rerolls on ones.
Yeah. But yeah, they're definitely cool models. You can always tell what a chaplain is when he's walking around the battlefield in his black armor and his skulls, and yeah. I think you just picked it because you like the models. So when I sent you that chaplain in the mail.
Yeah, well,
and then you're like, I need all the chaplains from the whole Blood Angels chapter.
Yeah, well, they got 13, so I'm gonna get 13 chaplains.
And how many do you have right now?
I have 3. Plus Ashtrath, so yeah.
So you have 9 more chaplains to go.
Yeah, almost there.
Just thought of something that links this in the last segment. I kind of wondered why they had Death Card Assault Marines in the Blood Angels, and then someone pointed out Lamatis to me, and I was like, okay, yeah, right, fair enough.
So, Savage, you pick chaplains for unit of the week this week, so you've got to at least give us a way that you would run a chaplain. I'm putting you on the spot again. Yeah, in a squad.
Guys. Yeah.
What guys?
No.
I just love that you're on the show with us now. You bring so much to it.
I do. I really add to this show. I really think that I am the glue that keeps this together.
Vengeance. The warm vengeance that keeps us all together.
Or the searing hate that Toxic has. No, I normally run them with Blood Angels, so I'd like put them in jump packs with Assault Marines, and they're pretty deadly.
Yep, getting some nice rerolls on your charge.
Yeah, especially when you take Ashtrath, because he gives you rerolls on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Hits and wounds.
I think he gives you that if you throw him in with Death Company.
Ah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Ashtrath gives you a lot of bonuses anyway. But yeah, chaplains are just amazing.
Yeah. For those Space Wolf players, and you don't have chaplains, you have wolf priests. Um, I have I've lately been running them with gunslinging wolf guard. So 2 plasma pistols each. You're re-rolling ones on your shooting. That's a lot of hits and not a lot of gets hot. So I'm gonna throw that out there for some Space Wolf players that don't get chaplains but get wolf priests.
Is there any other? Is everyone else has chaplains, or does anyone else have specific priests?
I think everyone else has chaplains.
Oh, Blood Angels are Reclusiarchs.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's just the
That's just their name, like
Yeah.
different.
and because I think Dark Angels get what interrogator chaplains, and that's their high level chaplains.
No one
But-
expects the Dark Angels Inquisition.
Yeah.
I just love the Croziuses myself. The Crozius is awesome because it's a mace of magic and that always looks really pretty and doesn't look like you really should be hitting people with it.
Yeah,
Oh,
they used to be better than they were, because now they're only AP4, so they can't penetrate a Space Marine's armor. So with the pitch we've got, this guy's got a Power Fist too, just in case he comes up against something a little bit tougher. So, no, they're definitely an awesome weapon. They look like like you said, they look like they shouldn't be used for combat, but they can smash some face in. Only AP4, but yeah, so they definitely got a little bit. They got nerfed a little bit.
you know what I imagine now is like the interrogator chaplains being like Batman. Where's Rachel? That's the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of interrogator chaplains. Is
Except-
Batman?
Yeah, except they're asking for the Fallen instead. Where's the
Where's the fallen?
Oh, dear.
And with that, I think we can move on from Unit of the Week, and we'll go into our next segment, which is the lab. Again, something that we used to do in Battle Brothers, which we dissect army lists or codexes or rules. So we're putting our glasses on for this segment, I guess.
Because we were doing this before it was cool.
Yeah, I was doing the lab before the lab was cool.
So, for this week, because what we want is, if anyone wants to send us in a list, we'll go over that, just like we did in Battle Bros. And I'm going to be brave and put up my list for the first lab on the hammer. So, I'm going to throw it up there, and I'm going to let Seb and Savage tear it apart. So this is my my first prototype list for a tournament that I plan to be going to in July. It's Space Wolves, of course. 1750 points. Here we go. So I start with a Rune Priest as my HQ. I then have 4 units of Grey Hunters, all 10 man. 2 of them have 2 plasma guns. 1 of them has 2 flamers, and 1 of them has 2 melters. The plasma guns and the flamers each have Mark of the Wolfen and Wolf Standard. They're also riding in Rhinos. The Grey Hunters with the melters just have melter guns and ride in a drop pod. I then have 3 units of Longfangs, 1 with 4 missile launchers, 1 with 4 las cannons, 1 with 4 heavy bolters. They then stand behind a defense line with a quad gun. The Rune Priest will be sitting with them. I then have 5 Thunderwolf Cavalry. 1 has a Power Fist and 1 has a Storm Shield. And I think that's about it. So basically the idea is, using the drop pod rules, the drop pod with the melters comes down first turn. I didn't give them any upgrades apart from their melter guns, just to kind of be this kind of alpha strike, drop down first turn, maybe pop a tank, maybe shoot into some infantry. Just kind of mess stuff up and just draw some fire on my opponent's next turn. So hopefully on my opponent's next turn, they're shooting at that squad and leaving my other guys in Rhinos alone, and my Longfangs and my Thunderwolves. The Thunderwolves are going to be used to kind of protect the Rhinos as like an interceptor squad. So if someone's trying to come at me, and I'm trying to get my rhino to an objective, the Thunderwolf cavalry will intercept and just deal with that. Obviously, the Storm Shield's going to be riding in the front to take those low AP hits. The Rune Priest will be sitting with the Longfangs, and he'll be going between each squad depending on what I want twin-linked, because he will be taking Divination as his power, and he will be more or less every time taking the Primus power, which is he lets that unit reroll hits. So basically twin-links their guns. So if I'm getting attacked by a lot of infantry, he'll swap over to the heavy bolters and twin-link those heavy bolters. If there is a tank that I really need taken down, he'll go to the las cannons and twin link those las cannons. Also great for taking down flyers. You got a flyer coming in, twin link the las cannons. You're still hitting on 6s, but now you're getting twin linked. So that's pretty awesome. And then you got the quad gun there, and that quad gun will be manned by one of the sergeants for the Longfangs. So that's there just to give me a little bit of anti-air. So that's my list. I'm not gonna ask Savage first because he's gonna say, "Yeah, it's all right. I probably would have done better." So, Seb, what do you think?
Oh, I feel like I should be making notes for when we start get a game in next week. To be honest, but it's serious. Lots of people, lots of stuff going on. I'm just thinking I need lots of screamers to come and start tearing your rhinos open. That's what I'm thinking. But I'm to be fair. I've not got a great experience with the larger lists, but it just sounds like you've got a serious lot of seriousness going on. Seriously.
Yeah, well that's it. It's got 4 troop
serious?
choices, so it can definitely score. It's got a lot of ranged firepower from the Longfangs, so it can definitely shoot. It's got a little bit of melee in with like a mini Death Star with the Thunderwolf cavalry, and I'm really happy with it. It took me all Wednesday I was painting and just trying to think of a list, and that's what I came with it. So I'm gonna throw it over to Savage now, and kind of hold my breath and see what happens. Savage, what do you think?
Well, the first problem is it's Space Wolves.
Oh.
Sorry, this is interrogative Batman. Yeah.
I didn't have that last scene up for so long, so you could change. I just forgot to change it when I was talking.
Yeah. No, the first problem isn't Space Wolves. Just not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're going to a tournament and you're not taking the newest army. What's going on? Like, how are you gonna win?
So you're saying it's a bad list because it's not Grey Knights with Necron allies or Necrons with Grey Knight allies?
Yeah.
Surely it should be all crisis suits with missile drones.
Mm-hmm.
No, I reckon it's actually a pretty good all-round list.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem that I'm kind of looking at. It is an all-round list. When you go to tournaments that don't have comp scores, you usually end up seeing a lot of spammy lists that do one thing amazingly. That's what I'm worried about. Is just getting this really hard, cheesy tournament list, and just I'm an all-round list, but I can't deal with those tournament lists. That's what I'm worried about, at least.
You can't come out with hard and cheesy that seriously.
You really need like Grey Knight allies or something in there.
No, but give me some serious criticism, so at least when people think if they're gonna send in their list, we're not just gonna joke about it.
Serious? I don't do serious.
So this is a problem with me throwing my list up, is that I'm probably gonna be the one that's gonna give it the most serious criticism, and since it's my list, I don't know what to say.
Alright, well, it makes me think that when I play you, I'm going to be massively swamping my play bearers, lots of troops coming to take up all your troops, and just be heading lots and lots of screamers around the sides to rip them apart. So yeah, I'm going to be basically it needs to be kept in one place. I think.
Well, I mean, here's a criticism I'll give it. If it wasn't my list, I would say a lot of the fire supporters relied on those Longfangs. And they're just guys standing around the field, so yeah, they're not really they have the defense line to stand behind, but it's just going to give them 4-up cover save. Anything that's dropping it down, low AP shots is going to, lots of low AP shots is going to, destroy them. Any outflankers that can get behind that defense line and take them in close combat is going to be a bad time for that army list. Enemy drop pods, again, going to give those Longfangs a bad time, and once that fire support's gone, kind of weakens the army.
If you're going to have Longfang sitting up the back and a drop pod lands, you're going to have a bad time.
So
come on, Savage, be serious.
So a few things that I would a few things I would add to it would be maybe remove two Thunderwolf cavalry models and get some Razorbacks for the Longfang, so they can sit in the Razorbacks on first turn, and it takes a little bit of firepower. If you don't get first turn, they're sitting in their Razorbacks, and the Razorbacks have to die before they die. And then next turn they get out, you've got all the Longfangs and Razorback weapons. That's my really only suggestion for that list.
I reckon it'd have trouble dealing with multiple flyers as well.
It will. It only has the defense line and all the Longfangs with twin-linked weapons, but when you're playing Space Wolves, you don't have that much anti-flyer because they don't have flyers of their own. They don't have any anti-flyer units of their own. They only have the defense line. And if they take allies, I didn't want to take allies in my list. Personally, I think it kind of weakens the army if you don't do it right, so I didn't want to risk it.
It's definitely a good Space Wolf list, but it's probably not the best tournament list.
Yeah, not anymore. Not that flyers are out. I think that really weakens Space Wolves in the tournament scene, because if you come up against Necron flyers, a Necron spam flying, if you come up against 3 Helldrakes, that list is just gone.
Yeah.
If you can't take down those flyers, you're gonna have a problem. But
it sounds like a silly question. Is that that happens a lot? Like, if you just haven't got Skyfire stuff, you are just literally sat there being picked apart.
Depends on how many flyers they bring. I mean, one's not bad because it can only fire at X amount of guys before it's off the board, or before it has to turn around or go into hover. But yeah, if you do come up a list that has 3 or more and you've only got a defense line, you probably it's probably going to be difficult for you. But what I always like to say is that unless you're coming up against a Helldrake with its Bale Flamers, or you're coming up against a Storm Raven with a Plasma Cannon, Space Marines don't really have that much to fear from a flyer. I mean, you're coming with your Vendetta, you got 3 las cannon shots, that's going to kill maybe 2 of my Space Marines. You're coming up against me with your Tau Flyers, your AP4, I'm getting my 3-up save. I'm not worried about that. So, for everyone out there that's kind of worried about flyers, if you're playing Space Marine, I wouldn't be too worried unless you're coming up against Chaos or another Storm Raven. Would you agree with me there, Savage?
Yeah.
So I'm safe about not getting my what are they called, the demony fire things with Skyfire. Don't need to get that just yet then.
Well, that's the thing with demons, is that you're probably going to have a difficulty getting rid of flyers because you don't have much shooting, but at the same time all your army has an invulnerable save. So it doesn't matter what guns are shooting at you, you're still getting that same save. The downside is that you're not really going to be able to attack back, but I think you'll be alright. Unless you come up against Savage with his 3 Storm Ravens.
4.
Yeah.
At the moment. But, or what you could always do eventually, instead of getting the Soul Grinder for your Skyfire, is ally with Chaos Marine and get a Helldrake.
Oh, actually, you'd have pictures for this segment of some of my
That sounds like a
Space
good
Wolves.
idea.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Grey Knights for a moment.
Well, yeah, you got that too, but that would be the stupidest army ever. Demons allied with Grey Knights. Oh my god! And that allies contest that you were talking about.
Yeah, in
Oh,
Germany.
Yeah,
oh
das
my
ist
god!
good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh my god! I bet you someone will bring that too. I would do that
Uh,
just to piss off people.
It'd be the ultimate three-way. Have it, yeah, with Necrons as well.
Oh,
All
you
right.
know,
So
you
they
could get.
no. Well, I thought we're kind of getting sidetracked here from. Finish your last thing, and we'll move on to the next
No,
segment.
it's okay.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so that was the lab. Next, we have hobby tip of the week. Again, straight from Battle Bros, we got hobby tip of the week. This is where we go over just a tip that we have discovered in our hobbying experience that makes it a little bit easier for us to hobby. So this week, it's one of my tips that, I mean, a lot of people use it. It's not, I didn't invent it. It's just something that I do, and I thought I'd share it with others. But it is spray painting your models with a stick.
You should.
Well, you don't actually use the stick to spray paint the models.
I wash myself with a rag on a stick.
You get some mounting tape or some blue tack, or whatever you want to call it, double-sided tape. Stick as many models as you can onto a piece of wood or a stick, and just spray them like that. You can move it around to kind of get under the models in places that you wouldn't be able to get to if you just spray them on a flat surface. As you can see in the picture, I got my stool there. I used to just spray them on that stool, but I couldn't get underneath them properly, and I have to wait for them to dry and then flip them over. Now I can just spray them on the stick, and that's it. So
You used to glue your models to your stool.
spray my models on the stool.
On the stool. Stool's not the word for who. Anyway.
Good maturity on this show.
Savage is bringing the worst out of me.
He is.
I've got to be honest.
The chaos is spreading.
Yeah, my hobby tip would be, if you want to be professional, make sure Savage is wearing glasses.
But yeah, is this something that you guys would do if you don't do it already when you're priming your models?
I wouldn't do it.
It looks like what I'm going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in a serious note, I'll be probably doing that when I start spraying my demonic hordes. It definitely looks like a good idea.
Yeah,
Like you said, forgetting the angles.
You can get like 10 models done at a time, so there's like a whole squad at a time as well.
Yeah, well, you do that too, don't you, Savage? Because I kind of started doing that when we were when I was back in Australia with you. So I think I left my mounting tape there as well. So you should be.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually copyright that now, and then you're not allowed to use it because it's my intellectual property. I want all the profits you made off of that, and I want your moldings of that too. And I look forward to hearing back to you on that.
Well,
Yeah, I did it before it was cool.
I'm just trying to ignore mounting tape.
Mount.
So what's the argument between doing them when they're together and when they're not together? Because Sarah's just determined not to stick her things together. She wants everything based and painted well before.
yeah, I mean, the problem that I have, I mean, I don't know anything. I just paint models for money, but no.
Dickhead.
Well, the problem that I have is when you paint everything up before it's assembled and then you assembled it is, one, the glue doesn't stick to paint very well. So that means you usually have to get your hobby knife or something and scrape away some paint and create a nice surface to bond the glue together. Two, I find that if you're not going to be able to see that part when you're painting it, you're probably not going to be able to see it when it's all assembled. And like if you're gonna put the bolter across the chest, why does the chest need to be painted if the bolter is going to be covering it? So you're saving time. And
that Space Marine's going to be upset when he eventually sort of has some rest and puts his bolt gun down.
and his chest is just grey.
Yeah, just a grey Aquila.
You could just say it's scratched off from him holding it there all the time.
Yeah, and then like my third one would be because a lot of people prime their model when it's still on the sprue. Well, then you got to cut it out, and you're still going to have a little gray mark where the sprue was connecting, to the part. So you cut that out, and you're still going to have to paint that. So wouldn't it make sense to assemble it and then spray it? But I know a lot of people, and I know like a lot of people that actually do paint everything on the sprue, then cut it out.
See,
I'm not going to tell you not to do it, but that's not what I do. So
I used to do that. The first army I had, which was Necrons, and I like had no idea how to do anything, and I was like completely painting them on the sprue and then putting them together and then having to paint half the model again from where I'd cut it out on the sprue. So it's definitely a lot easier to put it together and paint it.
Yeah.
And then paint it.
I mean, that's another thing, is that a lot of people that I do know that do that do now I can't think straight. That do that. They basically just do the base coat and just call that done. I'm done.
Aren't you glad you took over this show, Toxic, and you got me to come on here? It made it so much easier.
This just in, 2 new positions opened up on the hammer. Apply today.
It wasn't me, sir. Right, it's gonna be fine.
Okay. Now I'm trying to think how I can say this without repeating what just happened. A lot of people I know who paint their models on the sprue don't do they just do base coats. They don't do washes and highlights and stuff. So it's definitely a lot easier to highlight your model when you're painting it all together, because you can see where light would hit the model. When it's all on the sprue, how can you paint highlights when you don't know which direction the light's going to be hitting the model once it's all assembled? Because
So the hobby tip pretty much is, don't paint it on the stool. Do it on a stick.
Right.
Okay,
so we'll move into our outro now. So that's the show. I hope everyone enjoyed the new layout. Kind of like Battle Bros and Hammer put together. We're clocking in at 1 hour and 8 minutes right now. We'll probably be maybe a little bit longer in further episodes when we have more time to prepare the show and just have more stuff to talk about. This episode was kind of like a pilot episode, even though it's our 13th episode. But it's just kind of a pilot episode for us to get the hang of this new layout. So it's kind of a test run. So thanks for watching and being part of the test run. So on the outro, we'll kind of I'll throw it over to Seb and Savage, and they can talk about what they're. Someone just put doo-doo in the chat. I'm sorry. Damn it, Kane. So Seb, if you can, tell us what you have coming up in this week. I think I'm just gonna leave and you guys can finish the show.
Oh, right. Actually, not much coming up this week. In 2 weeks' time, we've got the Eldar Fluff Talk, and then in a month's time, we've got the Eldar Black Vault. and yeah, where we were much more professional because we didn't have Savage to put us off. Um,
Turn up
yeah.
the hell.
Okay. Um,
Oh, we did. There is the donate part on the Dice Group because everything's free, and we will continue to be free. But it does, yeah, obviously help everyone and to keep this running, keep it going. If you could donate anything you want, which would be great. So Fox doesn't hunt me and kill me. Make sure we've said that.
so Savage, you have anything that you plan on doing? But I mean, now that we don't have Battle Bros, you got to pull your weight somewhere. Obviously, it's not on this show. So
Wait, I pulled my weight on Battle Bros.
not really. I know we want to be getting some tactics videos up, so people send in some stuff we want to hear tactics about. I think we're going to be doing one on fast attack. I think it's going to be our first one. I think we have we're going to be doing some live streaming of a Savage Worlds roleplay. I think that's going to be tonight, I believe. And then I don't know if Team England is going to be doing their live streaming theirs.
Oh, that's on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have yours on Sunday, we have ours today. I have no idea. That's all up to Fox if that's going to be live streams, but yeah. That's all I can think of. So thanks for watching, thanks for sticking around. Yeah. Tell us what you think if you like the new show. Have a good one.
Well, that's our show.
Taddy bye.
Like last does this.